For this tutorial on rigging sails, we're going to call in a good friend of the Quayside team, former test editor of Windsurf magazine, and now managing director of the official test centre in El Medano, Tris. Tris, over to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some very basic rigging guides so that you can enjoy your time on the water as much as possible and get the most out of your sailing. So the first one is basically about downhauling the sail. We'll then look at the downhaul range of a sail and getting the most out of the rig. And then finally the tuning the outhaul as well. Okay, so the first one, basically something that people do incorrectly is actually the threading of a downhaul system. And what you're trying to do is actually make sure that the ropes don't cross whatsoever, so that you can pull the tack of the sail right down to the extension, the bottom of the extension. So first of all, I'll just go through the how to actually thread the rope so that you don't get any crossing. Okay, so this system was first introduced by Neil Pride in the sort of mid to late 90s, and it's a very simple system. Rather than just doing a simple loop-loop-go system, what we've got is the rope actually starts from the outside, and you go to the outside of the cleat there. You then go to the furthest block, just round that, thread this through. You then actually go to the outside one just here as well, and thread it from the top to the bottom. Pulling on a bit of tension. You then go to the middle section and you thread from the outside to the in, and then from the final section actually goes through the middle of the cleat, and it comes up, and finally threads it through. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the downhaul and actually show the range of sets that a sail has. So first of all, we'll apply the maximum amount of downhaul, and I'll show you what I've looked for, and then we'll go to the minimum amount, and somewhere in between that range you'll find the perfect range of a sail. So, applying the downhaul, cleating it off. Basically, what I've done there is I'm trying to get the tack eyelet of the sail right down to the block. That's the ideal setting on your maximum setting, so that the foot of the sail is as close to the deck of the board as possible. Okay, so the maximum downhaul is applied, and one thing that's really crucial to make sure that you check before you go any further at this stage is ensure that your mast is actually fully together. Okay, so the mast is fully together, both sections are right next to each other. Then what I'm looking at is actually the batten. And what we have here is the main batten of the sail, and what you have here is that there's still rotation in it, but it's very easy to rotate. This is on a Nash Force 5.3, and basically what you've got there is very easy rotation. That's on maximum setting. Okay, so we've downhauled, as I said, we've downhauled the sail to the maximum amount, and what we're looking for secondly, first of all we've got the batten, secondly we're looking at the loop leach. Okay, so this sail has got a good progressive twist, and on the second panel down here, you can see there's a lot of twist here. So if I just lift the mast up, you can actually see that the sail will twist off, and it will tighten up. So this is on the moderate setting, the minimum setting of the sail. What we're doing, first of all, looking at the battens again, you can see that the main batten has a split rotation. It's actually, the batten is protruding in front of the mast, and so the rotation is very, very solid. So that once you actually use the sail in this setting, you've got a lot more shape into it, and what it does, it means the sail is much more punchy and powerful. Similarly, in this batten just here, just above the main batten, there is a little bit of rotation. Not too much, a little bit, so again, it just means the sail's got much more depth. Okay, and similarly, looking at the leach for the minimum setting, what we have here is on the second panel down, you still have a little bit of looseness, and you always need a little bit of looseness. But it's much tighter. It only comes to about the start of the OTC logo there, and basically it just means that the sail still has a little bit of give in the event of a gust. In the setting such as this, the sail will feel much tighter and more crisp and responsive. Okay, the final section to actually rigging a sail and tuning it is obviously applying the outhaul. So what we've got is obviously a range of outhauling, and it basically fine-tunes the sail to the power delivery that you want. What I tend to do is, rather than going off the numbers and using that as gospel, I tend to actually pull the outhaul and check and give myself a few centimetres to make sure that there's enough play there to fine-tune the sail. So pull the sail out, give yourself a few centimetres, and then roughly close the cleats on the boom. You've then got a loop-loop go system, so put that through the eyelet. Make sure the ropes don't get twisted, and then apply the outhaul. And what you're aiming to do is that the clue eyelet is actually right next to the end of the boom. Please ensure that there's no rope at all or no leeway in there. What you need is a nice close fixture so that the sail feels nice, tight and responsive. And then the final check is just to push on the sail cloth and make sure that it doesn't hit the other side of the boom. If it is, then basically it's going to create vortices of air over the other side of the sail and make it feel less efficient. So just try and push that, make sure that it doesn't hit the other side of the boom too easily. And there you have the sail tuned. Okay, so the final part of tuning the sail is to actually just check the setting is correct. And a simple way to display this is very simply looking at the sail without any tension on or tension on the mast. You can see there's a nice bit of loose leaf there. The sail is a nice eagle profile, a wing of an eagle. And if I tension the mast, what you can see is the tension or the leech becomes tighter. Okay, so it's actually twisting off, and it means that the extra energy that you have in the sail, if you hit by a gust, is exhausted out the top of the sail. Okay, so the sail goes from very loose, so with the mast blown off, nice and tight, and it means that you exhaust the power easily. Okay, so that was a very basic tuning guide to a sail using a 453 from Nash. Obviously each sail has a slightly different set and slightly different tuning range. In the OTC here we have 10 different board brands and 8 different sail brands, so why not come out for yourself and actually try their set.